Thomas Edison, one of the greatest entrepreneurs in history and also one of the most controversial, is known as the inventor of the incandescent light bulb. Edison also gained a reputation as a ruthless businessman, capable of using nearly every possible means to secure his rights and market positions, which has often led to him being seen by some as a villain, both in his time and even today. Nonetheless, Edison gathered thousands of patents and inventions under the umbrella of Edison Electric, later known as General Electric, that changed the world. Incidentally, he was also responsible for creating the great hub of world cinema, Hollywood, an achievement he likely was not particularly proud of. To understand why, we have to go back to 1888. In that year, Edison's company unveiled the Kinetoscope, an invention created by Edison along with his employee, William Kennedy Dickson. This device, considered by many as the origin of the cinematic world, laid the groundwork for the development of the U.S. film industry, despite it not being a true cinema, like the one created by the Lumiere brothers in France in 1885. By 1895, Edison had also launched America's first film studio, Black Maria, which in 1896 filmed the first documented kiss. In addition to owning property, he also held most of the patents on the equipment needed to shoot a short film, some created by him and others acquired or licensed exclusively to him. This made Edison practically a monopolist in the U.S. film market. Anyone wishing to produce a film would either have to pay or obtain permission from Edison's company. Otherwise, they would face legal action. Edison would take both judicial and extrajudicial measures to not only collect royalties, but also prevent other studios from thriving without compensating him. This control extended to exhibitors, who would use Edison-related equipment and likely films from his catalog. As a result, the American film industry became largely centered around Edison's laboratories, located in New York and New Jersey, with only a small exception for production shot in Chicago. Despite Edison's dominance, he had a significant rival in the Biograph Company, which utilized its own recording technology that avoided Edison's patents. Biograph quickly surpassed Edison's company in market share, releasing more than 1,000 films in its first 10 years. Still, Edison pursued those who released or exhibited films using his technology without paying him royalties. His influence, in theory, spanned the entire country, making it difficult to escape his grasp. Even films made outside the United States would still require Edison-linked equipment for screening within the U.S. Moreover, as cinemas proliferated across the country, especially Nickelodeon's, which charged just 5 cents per movie, Edison's lawsuits struggled to keep up. The rapid flow of money outpaced legal proceedings, and even when Nickelodeon owners paid fines, they were still profiting significantly. Faced with the growing number of films, theaters, producers, and lawsuits, Edison adopted a new strategy in 1908. Realizing that studios continued to grow stronger despite legal pressures, he sought to consolidate his power by forming a monopoly with other leading studios. This partnership, known as the Motion Pictures Patents Company, MPPC, aimed to control the American film industry. Alongside major players such as Eastman Kodak, Edison was able to charge Nickelodeon's fees for each film shown and increase control over theaters nationwide. For example, they charged $1 per week for each Nickelodeon projector. This monopoly, often referred to as the Film Trust, created barriers for both theaters and independent studios looking to compete. Despite the MPPC's control, some theaters sought to evade Edison's patents by showing imported European films. However, these feature films required more advanced equipment, much of which was patented by Edison, creating further obstacles for independent theaters. Faced with this hostile environment, smaller studios began searching for alternative locations to escape the MPPC's grasp. They needed a location with favorable year-round weather. Unlike New York, New Jersey, or Illinois, where winter blizzards could halt production, A remote location would also help them avoid constant surveillance by MPPC agents, and they sought a state with more lenient patent laws. Ideally, they wanted an area where legal processes were slower, giving them more time to generate profits before facing lawsuits. Some studios considered Arizona, but ultimately chose California for its diverse geography and consistently good weather. Located far from Edison's headquarters, California allowed them to film year-round. By 1909 and 1910, the first studios were filming near Los Angeles and Long Beach. The real turning point came in 1911, when a ranch near Los Angeles was purchased, becoming the first studio colony in the country, Hollywood. This soon became the base for studios that had evaded Edison's trust, producing films that overshadowed those from the MPPC. As the industry shifted to California, Hollywood's population exploded from 5,000 in 1910 to 35,000 just 10 years later. Some of the biggest studios in cinema history, including United Artists, MGM, Warner Brothers, Fox, Universal, Columbia, and others, emerged there, collectively known as the Big Eight. These studios, working cooperatively rather than as a monopoly, joined forces to file an antitrust lawsuit against the MPPC. In 1915, the government ruled that the MPPC's actions restricted free competition. Studios were free to produce and exhibit their films without paying royalties to Edison or the MPPC. In just 4 years, Hollywood transformed from a refuge for independent studios into the heart of the burgeoning open film market in the U.S. With its ideal weather, affordable land, and freedom from MPPC control, Hollywood became a powerhouse, increasing both the quantity and quality of films produced. Around the same time, World War I devastated many European studios, allowing American films, especially those from Hollywood, to fill the gap and gain global popularity. Ironically, Edison's attempts to control the film industry unintentionally helped create the very market symbolized by Hollywood, a place he once tried to suppress. And if you liked the video, don't forget to leave your like, comment, and share with your friends, and stay tuned for upcoming videos.